A great t-shirt there. Delete the divide shirt. Where's
Yeah.
mine?
Tell me about it. I have to get you one. I know a guy.
Okay.
All right,
All good.
Dr. Steinberg. So thank you for getting on this quick call. Tell us a little bit about GIS Day. Yeah, so GIS Day is tomorrow, right? Starting.
Correct. GIS Day is always the third Wednesday of November, which is actually Geography Week, and Wednesday in particular is the day we highlight Geographic Information Systems, or GIS, and how it's used across the county.
So what can our users expect to see at GIS Day tomorrow?
So we have a number of opportunities for people who participate, and they can register for free to participate in the live components, where we'll have a number of speakers through the day, starting with a keynote on Wednesday morning and Thursday morning. We're doing 2 days at 10 o'clock. And then after the keynotes from 11 until 3 o'clock each day, there are talks on a variety of topics from speakers both inside the county and from the public and nonprofit sectors on how they're using GIS in various ways every half hour. So about 20 plus talks over the 2 days. Also during the 2 days of the live event, we have a GIS Geography Treasure Hunt game, which is an online game where you can follow clues to identify notable sites throughout California. And if you complete all 10 questions, you get a treasure hunt completion certificate that you can hang on your refrigerator, but also you can then enter into our drawing for door prizes. We'll be giving away 5 personal licenses for GIS software for a year, as well as a whole bunch of gift cards to people who complete the game and enter the drawing. So that's a great way to participate in some geography knowledge and potentially get a little bonus at the end. Then throughout actually the entire week, already available now on our site, we have a virtual exhibit hall with I believe it's about 40 exhibits. A bunch of county departments are showing off ways they're using GIS to support the work of their departments, and then a number of external organizations, universities, community colleges, private firms, nonprofit organizations are also showing off opportunities and ways they're using GIS, teaching GIS, doing internships in GIS, and so on. So that exhibit hall is a self-guided tour. Each exhibitor has a page in there that you can click through and see examples of what they're doing. And then at the end of each day, some of our exhibitors are also holding open breakout rooms. So you can actually get into a breakout room between 3 and 4 o'clock on Wednesday and Thursday and talk to some of our exhibitors about their programs or their applications and what they're doing with GIS in more detail.
Now, for those who aren't aware, because there are tons of people when we watching this and they don't know what GIS is. Can you give them a little frame of reference on that?
Sure. So GIS stands for Geographic Information Systems, but in lay terms, what we're talking about is computerized mapping and map analysis. So if you use your phone to get directions to a local business or restaurant, driving directions or walking directions, underlying that is a geographic information system that has data on the roads, the addresses, the different facilities or businesses. In county government, we use this to support everything from defining service areas for public services to managing and monitoring infrastructure like our roads or our electrical grids or other services like that. In public health or social services, this would be looking at where we site clinics or other county facilities to serve the public more effectively so that there's facilities nearby, parks and playgrounds and so on. So it's a way to look at data about a variety of topics in a map-based perspective to understand how things relate in space, how things are best allocated so that we can serve the public more effectively. And then there's an element of this that relates to aerial imaging and satellites and drones, where we can also leverage knowledge from those pictures to understand what's our tree canopy look like across the county, or where do we have areas that have, you know, a risk of a flood or a fire based on the land use and the land cover of those areas that we can see in aerial imagery. So we combine maps, imagery, and other forms of data on demography, the who lives where there's needs or opportunities to really better leverage our resources and put the efforts or the opportunities where they're most needed.
Okay. So what would someone who's entering into GIS, what would they expect to do?
So GIS is a broad field. It can include a number of things. Most traditionally, it's going to be working with a computer to create data that's underlying maps of particular areas of interest. But as you get into sort of subspecialties, somebody with an eye towards art and design might go into more of the cartographic side of things and actually think about how to develop maps that are easy to understand and visually pleasing, whereas somebody who's more into the analytical side might be interested in studying and getting more into the statistical and mathematical modeling aspects of how do we take all this data and actually find the best place to do a particular project or service. Somebody who's more computer oriented might be interested in learning how to do some of the programming and data processing and databases behind GIS. So there's a broad range of ways people can get involved, from what I would call the art side of GIS, the creative side, all the way through to the very science side of it. So and then again with the imagery, there's also an emerging area where we're looking for people to get more into machine learning and artificial intelligence. How do we take an aerial image of the county or a region and actually identify with the what's in that image? Is it a tree? Is it a building? Is it a road? Is it a lake? So there's a whole aspect of that emerging art of AI or artificial intelligence. And then finally, even more on the cutting edge, is the visualization side, where we're getting into things like how do we do 3D modeling? How do we do a 3D model of a region and see what it would look like if we now plop a new building in there or a new park in there, and what would that change in the appearance of a neighborhood, or how would that change the flow of water during a storm, or the fire risk, or mitigate those risks in various ways? How would it change traffic flows? So this sort of 3D visual modeling is a new thing. And I think in the coming years, it's even going to move more into the virtual and augmented reality space, where we actually can do that, wearing our visualizing goggles, or going, or holding up our tablet and seeing augmented reality of the landscape in front of us to understand what the opportunities are.
So is it safe to say GIS has a big future?
It's actually, and it has been for a long time, one of the most fast-growing fields in the job market. It has a phenomenal growth rate. It has for my entire career of some 30 years now. Every time I think we're hitting a peak, there's another peak coming, ahead of us. So I think there is a great opportunity for people to get involved in a number of ways. And if you're not a hardcore computer person, you can still get involved with GIS as an end user. As somebody who helps to collect the data, fly the drone, do some of the field work associated with contributing information to the maps. So there's a lot of ways people are touching GIS today that 5 or 10 years ago was not even part of the business or part of the job opportunities. So it's a very fast evolving field.
All right. So tomorrow, GIS Day, we have any keynote speakers?
We do. So first off, tomorrow morning, we have Dr. D'Artagnan Scorza, who is our director of the Office for Anti-Racism, Diversity, and Inclusion for Los Angeles County. He's going to be speaking on how we're working with his office to do GIS analysis and mapping to understand where the needs for different kinds of services and opportunities are distributed across the county based on a whole variety of social and demographic factors, infrastructure, and so on, so that the county, as it moves forward with its efforts across a wide array of application areas and services, can do a better job identifying where the needs are so we can serve people more effectively, as opposed to making them maybe travel to a more difficult to access location because that's where the office happens to be or the clinic happens to be or the, whatever it may be.
Okay. Any other keynote speakers?
And then on Thursday morning, we have a keynote speaker from UCLA who's going to be talking about the intersection between the human sort of experience and the geospatial mapping. His background's more in emergency response. I'm not entirely sure what all he's going to touch on, but I'm sure it will be something about communities and their environments and how they respond to different challenges from the emergency side.
Okay. And where do our viewers go to actually take part of this?
So if you go to gis.lacounty.gov, that's our main GIS website for our GIS program in the county. And right at the top menu bar, there's a link to GIS Day. And if you click that link, you'll get basic information about the event and the times, and then a link where you can click to go to the event site and register for access to all the live events on Wednesday and Thursday, again, 10 to 4 p.m. And also, as I said, the map gallery, the exhibit hall are both open for business now. So they can, people can go there right now and start looking at some of the exhibits, some of the maps and web applications that have been shared by our partners in the program.
Well, anything else you'd like to leave our viewers, anybody watching?
I would just say, I think whether you are a person who sees themselves as a computer-oriented person who wants to get a familiarity of opportunities for this as a career path, or whether you're somebody who just likes that they can look up stuff on their phone or computer and get driving or walking directions, I think attending GIS Day is a great way to see how this all comes together, where the opportunities are, where the learning pathways are. Of course, through Delete the Divide, we're going to be providing some opportunities for people to get access to GIS tools and learn more about ways to apply them. And if you really get into this, we also have a number of community college and university programs from the region that'll be sharing information about the academic opportunities they offer for continued learning as you go through your educational experience. So with that, I'd say happy Geography Week, happy GIS Day, and we look forward to seeing you all there.
Thank you for your time, Dr. Steinberg.
All right.
Thanks. So
you can edit that up, make me sound good, take all the
yeah. Oh, you're great. You're great. I think we're just gonna post it. We're just like
all right.
It out. No.
Sounds good. Whatever you want.
All right. Cool. Thanks.
Right. Sounds good. Thanks, Jamel. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, later.
All right. Take care. Bye.